Now, India is all set to achieve yet another milestone in its missile defense program following the successful demonstration of its multi-layered ballistic missile defense system and the maiden flight test of the naval anti-ship missile medium range earlier this week. According to defense sources, a crucial BMD interceptor test is scheduled for Thursday, and the trial is expected to further validate India's capability to detect, track and neutralize advanced long-range ballistic missile threats. Now, the recent DRDO test showcased several indigenous technologies and reinforced India's position among a select group of nations with advanced missile defense capabilities who are in fact capable of countering high-end strategic threats. With a string of successful trials, another key test on the horizon, India's indigenous missile shield continues to strengthen, enhancing the country's strategic deterrence and national security preparedness. Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. William Selvamurthi, who is the President, Amity Science, Technology and Innovation Foundation and Chancellor of the Amity University, Chhattisgarh, and he was the former DG of DRDO. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and for speaking to Newsx. We appreciate it. Sir, I want to understand firstly from you, this is a great milestone for India, and given how the world is right now, we are seeing threats in terms of missiles. The evolution is on par. Is India now in fact in that league of nations that can successfully provide that kind of deterrence, sir?
Thank you, Shivani, for having me at this program. And let me congratulate the DRDO and also all the stakeholders associated with this ballistic missile defense capability which has been developed, and partners like Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, industries, academia and MSMEs who have contributed to this ballistic missile defense capability DRDO has given to this country today. If you look at the missile capability right from IGMDP program, which was launched in 1983, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, then scientific advisor to Raksha Mantri, was the program director as well, and he was the director of DRDL. And Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Nag, Trishul, all this missile came from this IGMDP program which have been inducted, and that was the foundation which was laid for the missile capability. Because missile requires propulsion, then materials, controls, guidance, navigation, payload integration, computation and software capabilities and the warhead. So these are the very important technologies which are required in the missile. So it is, even for love or money, you can't get these critical technologies from anywhere, with all the missile control technology regimes and other technology regime controls in position. So with this, India has been able to achieve self-reliance in this critical defense technology, which is missile technology. But the recent ballistic missile defense capability which has been demonstrated by DRDO is very important. Because DRDO also developed the other missiles besides what I mentioned, like anti-satellite missiles, anti-radiation missile, BrahMos, a joint the venture between India and Russia on the ballistic missile, on the fastest supersonic cruise missile today in the world is with India and Russia, which is BrahMos. So all this is on one side, the offensive capability we have developed. But now DRDO has demonstrated a multi-layered ballistic missile defense capability which has been successfully tested, because a target coming from ballistic, the missile coming from adversary will be coming at a very hypersonic speed. It could be, when it re-enters, even the speed could be of the order of 10 to 15 Mach, which is very high speed. So you have to intercept an object which is coming at that velocity So that is why this is very important for interception.
Absolutely.
So you have to intercept at multi-layers, exo-atmospheric and also the endo-atmospheric level. So the exo-atmospheric is very important because you have to detect it very early by using long-range radars and also using the satellite imaging. You should be able to detect very early and then send the right kind of missile to intercept. So we should be able to precise which is the closest to the target. Then you have to guide that missile and then seek the target very precisely, because enemy adversary may be sending a decoy or it could be a debris. So it could be other objects which has a similar signature. So we should be able to precisely identify the targets and log on and combat to the targets and neutralize it. So and the warhead is very important, the kinetic hit which you will have, all these are very, very critical technologies to intercept a ballistic missile coming at that velocity at different layer.
And
so
Mr.
this is a very
Selvamurthi,
great contribution by DRDO.
absolutely. And Mr. Selvamurthi, in fact, I want to
Yes.
understand, obviously, seamless integration among all of these, when we talk about sensors, when we talk about interceptors, everything has to be seamlessly integrated. Do you now believe that we have reached that mature stage of, in our development of, through these successful tests in the development of our missile systems?
Absolutely, because today with all the adversaries both on the eastern side and western side, and we have to be protected against the ballistic missile capability which is existing in the countries and our adversaries. So today we are in the 5th position if I have to rank and benchmark our capability. USA, Russia, then we have Israel and China. So now it will be the 5th country, India, which has developed this capability today, because we may have to protect so many assets, like Strategic Force Command has positioned so many strategic missiles in critical location. That has to be shielded, and the position like Parliament House and the capital and vulnerable cities have to be protected, and military assets have to be protected. So that is why this BMD capability is very, very important, where you have multi-sensor integration, then real-time data processing and quick decision-making support. All these are very vital for a fast response. It is in few seconds and a few minutes. The response has to be right from depending on the distance from which the missile has taken off. So this is a very, very critical technology, the BMD, which is now proven, and we have reached its stability now, and the technology is demonstrated. And now we will be positioning, DRDO will be, with the participation of armed forces, we will be positioning with the critical locations, and that will be the decision of the government. So I must congratulate Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and also our Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh, who provides so much support for the indigenous development of technologies, and also our stakeholders with the DRDO, which includes the industry, and also the academia, and particularly the MSMEs who contribute to this mission. So today we have developed this national capability for the ballistic missile defense.
In fact, Mr. Selvamurthi, if I can, before I let you go, when you talk about obviously the development of this technology, you've spoken about these various stakeholders, and the DRDO leadership also has highlighted the critical role that has been played by these private players, by the industry, by the MSMEs. I want to understand from your perspective, since your time at the DRDO, how has the role of the private sector changed, and in fact in developing these core strategic systems?
Earlier also DRDO has been participating and integrating the efforts of MSME, the capabilities in academia. For example, the guidance and the navigation came from Yadavpur University, and Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, IITs, and even private universities like Amity University, we contribute to the defense capability building as well. But this integration with the new policy of the government to open up to the private sector is a game changer. Like for example, startups, we have programs like Technology Development Fund, we have IDEX, and we have so many research boards which gives the capability for academia, industries, startups to come together and then ultimately make the system with the participation of armed forces and DRDO. So that is the game changer which is now building the national capability, not only in the DRDO, which is the fulcrum, but then now we are building that capability across the nation so that we will be able to export. Now we are exporting the technologies.
Absolutely.
Not only we have been importing, but now we are able to export defense technology to our diplomatically connected countries and friendly countries. So that is the game changer this government has brought in. And also the defense corridor, which is coming up both in UP as well as in Tamil Nadu, which will also now incubate more industries right from A to Z, will be available in the manufacturing sector. So we will manufacture for other countries. You may have the technologies coming in, and we have human resource and the industry infrastructure available today. So we will not only make for India, but we will make for the world in defense technology. That is what DRDO has produced with the help of the new policies which the present government has brought in. They have put restriction on import of more than 500 systems, major systems. So this is again, we have to success by compulsion. We have to develop these technologies indigenously. So that is the policy change which has been brought in, which gave the new impetus for the national capability building in defense technology sector. And now we will become a hub of the defense technology manufacturing and also conceiving futuristic technology. How do we integrate artificial intelligence? How do we integrate quantum technologies? And also machine learning, deep learning, and semiconductor. All these national missions will add our strength, because these chips are very critical technology, semiconductors. So today we have a national mission on semiconductor. We have a national mission on quantum technologies. So these are deep techs which will feed into defense technologies. So this is what is now Indian scenario in defense technology. And moreover, we are building human resource by masters in defense technology. Like Amity University, we have started a program, BTech in defense technology, MTech in defense technology. So many other universities have started. This will build the human resource which are required to work in the defense corridors, DRDO and PSUs, as well as in the private sector. And they will become startups. So this is what is the scenario today, which is now totally changed in the last 10 years. And I'm so happy being a part of DRDO that
very bright future indeed, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Selvamurthi, for joining us with your valuable perspective on this issue. All right, viewers, we are shifting our focus now. An Indian Air Force transport aircraft has crashed and caught fire at the Air Force station in Assam's Jorhat on Saturday morning. According to initial reports, the AN-32 aircraft went down within the Air Force station premises while landing, triggering a fire after the crash. Emergency response teams were immediately deployed to the site to control the blaze and assess the situation. The cause of the crash is yet to be ascertained, and details regarding casualties or injuries, if any, remain unclear. The Indian Air Force has confirmed the incident and said that further updates will be provided after assessment of the situation. Let's in fact take a detailed look at the AN-32